Welcome back to Catholic Lunch Break here on AM 1430. This is Wyatt Goolsby talking about all things Catholic in the greater Houston area. We enjoy highlighting the ongoing work to build up our Catholic community locally, and one of those programs that has continued to grow here in the Houston area is called That Man Is You. I heard about it at a lot of parishes I go to visit, but let's learn more about it. So we brought in Zac Wierschem. He is the program coordinator at Paradisus Dei. Zac, welcome in. We appreciate your being here.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Tell me about your organization, Paradisus Dei.
Yeah, I love talking about Paradisus Dei because I think that we can go to Mother Teresa's quote when she said, "If you want to change the world, go home and love your family." And that's exactly what Paradisus Dei does. Paradisus Dei is Latin for Paradise of God. And what we do as a ministry, we're a lay Catholic ministry, lay family ministry, is that we take the Holy Family and we see them as the icon or the ideal for family life. And we want to bring that into Catholic family life. And so in order to do that, we have certain programs. So like That Man Is You, as you mentioned. Also, She Shall Be Called Woman, this women's program that we're probably going to talk about later down the line, and then there's Missionaries to the Family, all these different initiatives, all stemming from bringing into the family the paradise of God in order to help them find and adore God in the home.
And it's so important to build up the family. You know, the bishops have talked about it. Pope Francis has talked about the family as kind of being the central unit here where we can grow in holiness. And so luckily you guys have a lot of programs that can help with that, whether it's the family or individuals in a family, for example. So That Man Is You is one of them. It's aimed at men, but tell me a little bit more about it for people who are unfamiliar with That Man Is You. I know I've heard about it, but I never got into the nit and gritty of it. So tell me about it.
Yeah, so that's really, I love this question also because my supervisor was telling me that our founder, Steve Bowman, he felt called to do couples ministry. And a lot of guys were telling him like, hey, you got to do something for us. And then he was like, no, I'm going to do couples. But he's like, well, a man is half the couple.
Right.
As well. And so That Man Is You is a men's leadership program that is run out of the parishes. It's video-based, and it's ultimately to build community of men in order for those men to be more like St. Joseph, to take more of that leadership role in the family. The crux of the program is that Steve Bowman, he shows through sociological statistics and through the parable and the story of the prophet Nathan and King David, that every single issue that we have in society can be brought back to failed male leadership.
Interesting. Okay.
And so he paints that picture in the That Man Is You program. Then he's like, okay, what do we do about it? Let's see what the wisdom of the church has to say. Let's see what the wisdom of the saints has to say. Let's see what science has to say. And let's build a community and hold one another accountable, because that man is you and that man is me.
Interesting. And of course, there are so many challenges to men being able to imitate St. Joseph, for example. So many temptations out there because, of course, we're in a spiritual warfare here in the world. So tell me a little bit about then, is this, That Man Is You then, you said it's video series, so it's like a weekend program kind of a thing?
So it's a weekly program, usually about once a week, sometimes Saturday mornings, sometimes Wednesday mornings. It's whenever is best for the parish. And it's about an hour and a half long, and it's three main parts. You'll have 30 minutes of food and fellowship. Then you'll have 30 minutes of quality Catholic content, and then you'll have 30 minutes of small group discussion. And that small group discussion is really where the transformation happens. And it's where the guys, they take the video content and then they apply it in their lives. And then they keep one another accountable for the insights that they received and the graces that they received there. And it's just been absolutely beautiful to just see how organically it has grown over the years. We've been around for about 20 years. And now we started in one parish in St. Cecilia. And now we are in 945 parishes across the country and in the world, in 45 states in the U.S., and we're continuing to grow.
It's incredible, and it makes sense to me then that you'd have the different programs spread out over a weekly period, because it seems to me there's a lot of material to cover, but also just a lot of things to pray and meditate on, because there are just so many challenges to men in our society today.
Yes, there definitely are.
So you said, wow, so that's incredible to think there's more than 900 parishes that have some type of That Man Is You program. Zac, I want to ask you about your own personal experience, because you were telling me via our communication that you're attending to That Man Is You or participating in this kind of program had a personal impact on you in your life. Tell me a little about what happened.
Yeah, so there's actually two different impacts when I think about this. There's an indirect and then there's a direct one.
Okay.
The indirect one was that my dad actually was a part of That Man Is You.
Okay.
And so he was going to That Man Is You, and his fathering of me has impacted me in my faith. That he took his fatherhood role seriously. Like he went to my soccer games. He taught me how to pray. We went to Mass together. We prayed the rosary together. And I think that Man Is You had a really big part of that. And so indirectly, That Man Is You has affected me in my coming of age through my dad. And then directly, I'm just so touched by That Man Is You because it was this kind of safe place for me to land when I came back home. Now, I was out of the country for about 5 years doing missionary work in Guatemala and then Kenya. I was with the Missionaries of Charity, the order founded by Mother Teresa. And when I came back about 11 months ago, I really didn't know what to do. I really didn't have something to go to or a community. But I still wanted to go to daily Mass and keep a strong spiritual life. And so I would take my dad's bicycle to daily Mass, and we'd go to St. Justin Martyr. And the thing is that he lost the bike key. And then he told me, like, Zach, just leave it in the back. You'll be okay. Go to Mass, leave it in the back. You'll be able to come home. So I do that. I leave it in the back. I go to Mass. It's not there.
Oh, no.
And there's this bike trail that's there. I'm thinking somebody probably got it. And then I go to the office. I ask if they knew about it. The maintenance man, he comes out and he says, Zach, do you know? He didn't know my name, but he said, are you the owner of the bicycle? And I'm like, yes, sir. He said, I don't want you to put it there anymore. We start talking, and then I tell him that I was out of the country doing mission work, and he invites me to That Man Is You.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Then he says, I want you to go where it started. I want you to go to St. Cecilia. And that's where I met the people that work for Paradisus Dei and That Man Is You. And so because I left my bicycle someplace, I met that guy. I got involved with That Man Is You. And like now I have a job there. It's given me employment. And I feel so blessed as a young adult as well to be formed in the content and spirituality of Paradisus Dei and That Man Is You.
What do you think it was about some of that content for That Man Is You that resonated or had an impact with you that you really prayed about and focused on to help you grow in your spirituality?
I think one of the things that really touched me about That Man Is You, specifically the content, was just how both practical it is, and then also how much it touches the heart. It touches the human experience. There's one of these videos called the cry of the child. Mm-hmm. And it's talking about fathers who are working too much. Yes, we have the role as a provider, like a father as a provider, but fathers will oftentimes make work an idol and neglect their family. Uh-huh. And so our founder, Steve Bowman, he walks through that, and he actually uses an Eminem song for that. So it's a little bit of connection, but just like that touches the heart, and it makes it practical, saying, go home, change the world by loving your family. Provide not just a salary, but provide your presence. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I can take with me as I continue along my vocational journey, wherever the Lord takes me, to be able to give my presence in the small things consistently.
I think it's impactful that you said presence, because then I'm thinking about the example you said about your father, about him just being there, whether being at Mass with you, being at the games, praying the rosary. I mean, to be a good father in that example, it's just starting with the very basic of basic, just being there for your family, being there for the child, not necessarily having to be an expert with everything, not having to know or have all the answers to everything, not knowing how to solve every problem, but just being there is very powerful. That's at least the message that I'm gaining from what you're saying.
Yes, and I think that is exactly how God the Father works with us. Mm-hmm. He's just there. His presence is always there with us, whether we recognize it or not. And that's one of the marks that I believe that makes him the best father. Like that he is God, and he's present with us, and he's always going to be there for us. And so I get that a lot from That Man Is You. And that really touches me and propels me forward and inspires me to really become the best man that I can be, become a man after God's own heart, the God who is present. Mm-hmm. And his presence is that present.
Very good. Zach, tell me about kind of some of the initiatives happening later this year for That Man Is You. My understanding is that you guys are going to be holding an open house so that people can learn more who haven't been participated before.
Yes. So we are doing this initiative nationwide. We are calling it the That Man Is You Open House, and we are essentially making an ask of people and a marketing initiative to invite people to come to a That Man Is You class as nearby them. And to go onto the website, paradisusdei.org /TMIY-open.house, and be able to experience That Man Is You and come and see what That Man Is You is, and hopefully they'll stay. But ultimately, they have to make that decision. But we're making that ask.
Very good. And of course, a lot of parishes here in the Houston area have a That Man Is You program. So check out your bulletin. Also, ask your parish office if you have a That Man Is You program, because a lot of them do. Zac Wierschem, program coordinator, Paradisus Dei, also helping lead things with That Man Is You. We appreciate your coming on the program, being here, and explaining to us all about the program.
Yes, it was a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
And we want to thank all of you for listening to AM 1430 Catholic Lunch Break. Again, we appreciate your support of our ministry, the Guadalupe Radio Network. And we appreciate all you do to help keep Catholic radio on the air here in Houston. Again, you've been listening to Catholic Lunch Break. My thanks to all of our guests today. Again, my name is Wyatt Goolsby. We thank you so much for listening. Until next time, stay Catholic, Houston.